All right, let's dive deep today. We're going to tackle Git, GitHub, and AI coding assistants.
Ooh, those AI coding assistants, everyone's talking about them.
Yeah,
Are
exactly.
changing everything.
Yeah, and you guys have already dipped your toes into this. We're
Right.
skipping the coding 101.
Yeah, let's jump right into the good stuff.
Yeah, the juicy stuff. Think of this deep dive as like a cheat sheet to unlock the true potential of all this for your projects.
What's fascinating is how these seemingly separate tools really weave together a powerful ecosystem, like having a super powered toolkit,
Right.
but you need to know which tool does what.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, so let's start by untangling Git and GitHub. They sound so similar,
They do.
but I know they're distinct, so could you break it down?
Absolutely. Let's imagine you're writing a novel. Git is like your trusty typewriter and filing system. It meticulously tracks every edit, every deleted sentence, every chapter rewrite. This version control system, it's the backbone of collaborative coding. It lets multiple developers work on the same project without stepping on each other's toes.
I see. Okay, so Git gives you this detailed history,
Mm-hmm.
but it's all on your local machine.
Right.
That's where GitHub comes in.
Precisely. GitHub is like the bustling online bookstore where you publish your novel. It's a cloud-based platform built around Git repositories, those folders where your code lives. GitHub lets you showcase your project, collaborate, and even contribute to massive open source projects.
I see. So it's like a global gathering place for developers.
Exactly.
Now, our source material had this handy table comparing Git and GitHub.
Right.
And one key difference was this concept of local versus cloud. Could you unpack that a little more? I feel like that's one of those things that trips up beginners.
It's a crucial distinction.
Yeah.
Git is the software you install on your computer. It's like your personal coding sandbox. That's where you experiment and track changes locally. GitHub is the online platform where your Git repositories become accessible to others or even to yourself from multiple machines. That's where the magic of collaboration happens.
Oh, okay, I see. So Git is the engine and GitHub is the vehicle.
Yeah, I like that analogy.
Yeah, it's helpful. Now let's get a bit more technical. The source talked about the code cycle
Yes.
and how files move through different states before they're committed.
Right.
But to be honest, those terms always sound a bit abstract to me. It's
Oh,
like,
yeah.
can you bring them to life a little bit?
Sure. Imagine you're building a Lego masterpiece. First, you have a pile of loose bricks. Those are your untracked files. They're new. They haven't been integrated into your project yet. Our source material cleverly uses the color red to represent this state.
Okay, so red for untracked. What happens next?
Well, as you start building, you select specific bricks and you connect them. This is like the staging area, represented by the color green in our source.
Okay.
So you're carefully choosing which changes you want to make permanent. Finally, when you're happy with a section, you glue those bricks together. That's the commit action.
Ah, so it's like creating a snapshot of your project.
Yes,
Okay, that makes perfect sense.
at a specific moment in time.
Yeah. The source also briefly mentioned Git flow, and there was a diagram, but not a lot of detail.
Yeah.
And I've heard the term, but I'm still fuzzy on what it actually is.
So think of Git flow as like a blueprint for managing different versions and branches of your code.
Okay.
You know, when multiple people are working on a project,
Right.
they need a way to organize their changes and merge them seamlessly without creating chaos, right? So Git flow provides a set of conventions for creating branches like master for the stable release, develop for ongoing work, and feature branches for specific tasks.
Okay, so rather than everyone working directly on the master branch,
Right.
they create these separate branches to develop and test their code independently
Exactly.
for merging it back into the main project.
Exactly. It's much cleaner.
Yeah, much more organized. Now, let me get practical. For someone who's excited to start using GitHub,
Yes.
what are the essential steps to create a repository and upload their first project?
It's surprisingly straightforward.
Okay.
First, you'd head over to GitHub and create an account.
Uh-huh.
Then you'd install the Git software on your computer. Think of it as downloading the tools to speak the Git language.
Right.
Once that's done, you can create a local Git repository, which is basically a folder where your project files live.
Okay, so you have your local repository,
Right.
and now you want to connect it to the GitHub platform.
Exactly.
How does that happen?
Using a few simple commands in your terminal,
Okay.
you link your local repository to a new repository that you create on GitHub. It's like establishing a bridge between your computer and the cloud.
Okay.
Then you push your local code up to GitHub, making it accessible online.
And that's the moment when you're officially a GitHub user?
Yes.
You can see your code up there ready to be shared or just, kept safe and sound in the cloud.
Mm-hmm.
That's pretty empowering.
It is.
But our deep dive wouldn't be complete without exploring AI coding assistants.
Right, which are transforming the coding landscape as we speak.
As we speak, I'm curious what sparked this whole AI coding revolution.
Well, coding can be incredibly complex and time-consuming.
Yes.
Developers are always searching for ways to write better code faster with fewer errors. And that's where the magic of AI comes in.
Yeah.
These AI coding assistants leverage machine learning to analyze massive amounts of code, learn patterns, and provide intelligent suggestions and assistance in real time. Imagine having a super smart coding buddy who can anticipate your next move
Wow.
and offer helpful tips along the way.
That sounds like a dream come true.
It's pretty close.
Yeah, like having a senior developer
Mm-hmm.
looking over your shoulder,
Yeah,
whispering coding wisdom in your ear.
exactly.
Can you give us a sense of what the landscape looks like right now? Are there a lot of players in this AI coding space?
It's a rapidly evolving field
Yeah.
with several key players. You have GitHub Copilot, which was developed by GitHub in collaboration with OpenAI.
Okay,
It's gained traction for its impressive code generation capabilities.
right.
Then there's Amazon Code Whisperer, a powerful tool from Amazon that integrates with their cloud services. Those are just a couple of examples.
Right.
Other notable tools include Tab9, which is known for its multi-language support,
Okay.
and Codium AI, which focuses on code quality and security.
Wow, so it sounds like a whole ecosystem of AI coding tools.
Absolutely.
All right, this is definitely a space to watch closely.
Yes.
But before we get too far ahead, let's zoom in on the challenges that these AI coding assistants aim to solve. Our source material highlighted some common pain points that developers face.
Right.
Let's start with syntax complexity.
Sure.
Can you elaborate on that a little?
Absolutely. Even seasoned developers occasionally trip over those intricate syntax rules
Right.
of different programming languages. Those missing semicolons, misplaced brackets, typos can be a real headache.
Yeah.
And for beginners, it can feel like learning a whole new language with its own grammar and vocabulary.
It's like trying to write a sonnet in a foreign language.
Yes, exactly.
You might have the vision, but the execution can be a struggle.
Yes. And AI coding assistants excel at catching those syntax errors in real time,
Okay.
saving developers from countless hours of debugging.
Wow.
They're like grammar checkers for code,
Oh.
ensuring that your syntax is flawless
I see.
and preventing those frustrating compile time errors.
So they're not just speeding up the process, they're making it less error-prone.
Exactly, a huge win for beginners and experienced developers.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, syntax errors are one thing,
Mm-hmm.
but what about those, more insidious bugs that can creep into your code?
Oh, yes.
That kind of makes you want to pull your hair out.
Yes, I know them well.
Trying to find them. How do AI coding assistants tackle those?
That's where their real-time analysis capabilities shine.
Okay.
They can analyze your code as you type,
Wow.
identifying potential bugs and vulnerabilities before they even become a problem. They can flag suspicious code patterns, suggest alternative approaches, and even recommend best practices to prevent those common coding pitfalls. It's like having a constant code review
That's amazing.
happening in the background, ensuring that your code is not just syntactically correct, but also logically sound and robust.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
It's like having a virtual coding mentor constantly nudging you in the right direction.
Mm-hmm.
That's amazing. Our source material also mentioned code efficiency as a challenge
Right.
that AI tools can help address. Can you break down what that means? How could these assistants actually help?
So, writing code that works is one thing, but writing code that's elegant, efficient,
Mm-hmm.
it performs like a well-oiled machine, that's another level entirely.
Yeah.
That's where code efficiency comes in. It's all about optimizing your code to run faster, use fewer resources, and
Right.
just generally be more maintainable.
So not just getting the job done, but getting it done with style.
Exactly, with
What is
finesse.
that?
And AI coding assistants can be incredibly valuable here. They can analyze your code and suggest ways to streamline algorithms,
Sure.
choose more efficient data structures, even refactor entire sections to improve performance.
Wow.
Yeah, it's like having a code optimization expert on call 24/7.
Now that's what I call waiting smarter, not harder.
Exactly.
The source also touched upon something that always gives me a bit of anxiety: compatibility issues.
Oh, yes.
Integrating different libraries or components.
It can be a recipe for headaches.
Yeah, how can AI coding assistants help us navigate those tricky waters?
You're right, compatibility issues can be a real nightmare. You think you found the perfect library to solve a problem,
Mm-hmm.
but then you spend hours trying to make it work with your existing code.
Right, right.
incredibly frustrating.
Yes.
But AI coding assistants can lend a helping hand. They can analyze the dependencies, the APIs of different libraries, flagging potential conflicts and suggesting workarounds. Some tools even go a step further
Wow.
and recommend alternative libraries that are more compatible with your project.
That's amazing. That's a huge time saver.
It is.
It's like having a compatibility oracle
Mm-hmm.
that can predict potential clashes before they derail your whole project.
Exactly.
I'm sensing a theme